Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Who you with, Kurt? I'm out. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to Speak On It. Welcome to Speak On It. I'm welcome to Speak On It. Welcome to Speak On it. I'm welcome to Speak On it. Welcome to Speak On it. I'm welcome to speak. Welcome to speak. Welcome to speak. I'm 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 welcome to speak. Who you with, Kurt, dog?
Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, dog. I'm him. Who you with, Kurt, dog. Y'all know what night it is. It's Thursday night. Got Miss Rickie up in the house tonight. Want to welcome everyone to the show. Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, D Live. What else? Madcash. Welcome y'all all to the show. Let's get this party started. I'm glad it's Thursday and she came back to hang out with her boy once again. What's going on, Miss Rickie?
Nothing much. Just sitting here chilling like a villain.
How was your week?
Exhausting. It's just, I don't know. Like, I say this every week. The days are just running into each other. I have no concept of the days or the time it is in the year. It's just like a blur, but it's exhausting.
Hey, I feel you on that. It's man, it's Thursday. You know, I get excited whenever I can come on with you. I'll be like, man, we allow everybody to come on the show, and this week they tried to double team me. They try to get me. I'm like, boy. So it been a good week, but hey, we made it to Thursday. What you sipping
on? Woodbridge by Robert Mondavi. So it's a red wine. Try something. Kroger had a buy 6, 20% off.
Oh Lord.
So, I was like, I wasn't going in there to buy it. I was just trying to buy that Cali Red that Snoop Dogg has, and saw the deal, and I was like, well, I already have wine at home, but I'll buy some more.
I haven't. I have 2 bottles of the Snoop. I haven't tried them yet, but I'm definitely gonna try them. I actually have some Black Girl Magic rolling tonight.
That's me. Oh, that.
Think it's some. I don't know. My wife made it for me. I'm not sure which one she gave me, but has the Black Girl Magic going. Man, y'all need to check it out. It's smooth. I'm like, all right. Welcome to the show, T-Cal. She said, yep. It seems to have been a long week for me as well, but I'm glad y'all are here. I appreciate it. Appreciate you for always tuning in. Y'all can live chat with us in the chat room. On Thursday night, we start off with a little bit of history from Miss Rickie. So go ahead and holler at that history real quick.
Yeah, so we're straying away from the massacres and just do something influential Blacks in American history. This one, I think we can all say we benefit from this man's invention. Philip Emeagwali, who was born August 23rd in 1954, is a Nigerian American and a computer scientist. He was the oldest of 9 children, clearly a math prodigy. And let's see, he was born in Accra, Nigeria. Uh, in 1974, he earned a scholarship in the United States to attend Oregon State University. Earned a degree in mathematics in 1977 and earned a doctoral fellowship in 1980. So, how did he influence our great United States or the world actually? So he achieved a distributed computing breakthrough that helped lead the development of the internet.
Uh-oh.
Right. His work with simulations uh, or simultaneous calculations on connected microprocessors earned him a Gordon Bell Prize, which is equivalent to the Nobel Peace Prize in computing in 1989. He is credited with inventing the world's first supercomputer and is known as the father of the internet. So without him, we wouldn't be live tweeting. We wouldn't be on Facebook. I mean, I'm sure eventually someone would have figured it out, but it's nice to know that this gentleman was the first one to do it
Wow.
and got recognized for it.
A brother. Man.
I know.
That's wonderful.
My brother from Nigeria.
Hey,
I count that 50%.
exactly. um, man, that's interesting. That's some good news right there. Now, a
Mhm.
lot of people thought it was somebody else that started the internet, but no. So that's a good thing. I appreciate you, Risky. And I'm trying to see, is he still living? I think he is.
I didn't see that because he was born in the 50s.
Yeah, born in
I didn't
54,
see.
so he's still living.
Right. So he's still alive and kicking. I didn't see that anything stating that he passed. So he's probably still, kicking and living. I didn't hear anything after that or see anything after that.
Yeah, he 66 years old.
Creating more things. Yeah.
Probably have.
He's still in his prime. He he on an island somewhere chilling.
Let me see. They have a list of yeah, he's oh wow. Have a net worth of 3.2 billion.
Billionaire. Hey, Philip.
And that came out June 21st of this year. He have a net worth.
How you doing?
Hey,
You need third wife?
no,
No, you know what's funny? I don't know what it is with me and Nigerian men, but they always want to make me their second wife. And of course I'm like, listen, I'm first wife material. But this other guy I worked with, he knew somebody, and I was like, listen, he needs a green card, and he's set up, let him send him my way. And he's like, well, there's only, he's got lots of money, he'll take care of you, he's a good guy, but you got to have 4 kids. And I'm like, dude, I'm 40. Well, 3 kids. And I'm like, I'm 40, I'm tired. He's like, you can work something out. I was like,
I'm typing at the same time, but that's some good information. Thank you for always bringing the history to us, because that's some great knowledge that you always bring every week with the massacres. And now you bring in some knowledge, some things that we have developed that some people don't feel like we had anything to do with it. I wonder if, just out of curiosity, kind of wonder if some of these folks that don't like black folks, if they'll stop using the internet now.
I doubt it. I'm sure they'll figure out a way to, make it their own like they do everything else.
Exactly.
Because it's the World Wide Web.
Exactly. Well, that's definitely some good history. I did not know that, and that's really good. So now we're gonna get to some disturbing stuff. I don't know if y'all paid attention to this, but a couple of days ago, a brother by the name of Willie Brown Jr. Um, um, Willie Brown Jr. was found in Sacramento, I believe. Um, Welcome to the show, Eva Donkey. Thank you for always tuning in. Um, so this brother, we heard about um, the brother in Philly the other day. We done a story several months back um, about the brothers that was being found in California hanging from a tree, and it's really disturbing when I hear stories like this. It really upset me because here it is. We in a time where racism stick out more than it ever done before. People are coming out of the woodworks, just showing their true colors. Now, this brother, 38-year-old father of four, um, was found hanging from a basketball goal, and the family said, "No, this is it's not right. He wouldn't kill himself. He wouldn't do it." And he spent 8 days on a breathing machine fighting for his life. And of course, the police automatic said it was a suicide. Now, I have problems with that because in this same particular area, a couple of months, maybe 3 or 4 months back, we did a show about it. I think it was like two brothers in California and a guy down in Houston, and they all said they was suicide. But the problem is the evidence are not adding up, and the family need answers. For the simple fact, they said, "Look, not one time did the police mention there was a step stool out there, a ladder out there, or anything. He did not get up there uh, on top of the goal, put a rope around his neck, and hang himself. It just don't add up." And a lot of these police
They
departments,
said it was like a 10-foot tall basketball hoop.
exactly
So I don't know how tall he was, but I can't imagine him jumping up
10 feet.
to 10 feet in the air, vertical jump, tying the noose, and then jumping up to put like it's not feasible.
Yeah, it's crazy. Um, we've seen this happen so many times. Even in California, a couple of months back, when it came out that I remember at least one of them came back wasn't a suicide. They ruled it was not a suicide, and that started to cause more questions to come up. Now, here it is. You have the folks making threats of civil war. Then you have some cops that are doing things that talking about they love to have a civil war. The cop that used to work, I believe it was North Carolina, that was caught on tape talking about he fantasized about killing black folks. But here it is, the cops do not want to investigate this stuff, and it's sickening. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Um, so it's really disturbing to me as a black man. But then I have to look at all my nieces, nephews, little cousins, my friends. It could be either one of us. And then you have these cops that do not want to do a full investigation. That's just like I said about Lisa Johnson, the story up in Seattle. the young lady that was left a bingo house came up missing, found several days later at the bottom of a bridge, and they immediately ruled it a suicide. For years, I've always heard that Seattle have a high suicide rate,
Mhm.
and the problem is it's easy for these cities to say it's a suicide to keep their murder rate down.
Exactly.
So we need somebody higher up that can actually um, investigate this. Now I know the FBI, they will not come into that city not unless they've been invited by the police department. So the problem is we need somebody to look into all of these cases, thoroughly investigate it, because it don't make sense to me. And I don't understand it. Um that's my part of it on Willie Brown. My prayers goes out to the family. They do have a GoFundMe account set up. So if you're able to donate, definitely donate. They also asking for the families said they do not believe the Sacramento Sheriff Department has handled this case correctly, and they are requesting a full investigation by the FBI hate crime unit into the death of Willie Brown Jr. You can contact the Sacramento FBI at 916-746-7000. Dial 1, then 2, and apply pressure to open the case. You can also file a complaint and request by this website. So what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna post this to the page because we need to um, investigate these deaths. It's unnecessary. It happened way too often, and I don't know. I guess I got hot. Kind of got tipped off a little bit too much, and um, but I'm gonna post this on the page in case somebody missed it. You can actually if you're on Facebook or YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, it should have came up on the page. And please, let's get some closure for this family. This is happening way too much. It's so easy for someone to say it's
Suicide or just accidental death, all
exactly.
those things that you hear.
But that's crazy. I'm 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 trying to get better. But it's when you hear stories like that, it just frustrates you. I don't care who you are, um, what race you are, what party you support. It's frustrating because this could be you, it could be your family member. But at the end of the day, this family is suffering. This family is suffering. So do what you can to help them. Um, and definitely make the calls. Make the calls. Um, you can look on the page and get the phone number. Click on the link that came up, and let's help this family out because we've seen this happen too much, especially in California. I think this year alone, there have been at least 4 that came out of California that they immediately ruled a suicide. So let's jump together and help this family out. Man, welcome to the show, Radio Chaos. Happy Thursday to you. Um, I see you, Evil. I see you. Um, yeah, welcome to the show. Thank y'all both for always tuning in. Um, man, I'm
Mhm.
let me. I'm trying to calm down, but then the net story is just crazy. Um, this happened. Matter of fact, I think both of these stories happened on the same date. Let me verify this. Um, let me make sure because
Which one, the New York cop or?
no, I'm talking about the net story that's coming up. The 19-year-old that was killed
Okay.
um at in Illinois. Um, yes, uh, boy, this it's crazy. Um, so apparently, two different areas, same day. Um, no, a day apart. A day apart. Um, Willie Brown Jr. was on the 19th of October, and Marcellis uh, Stinnette, I believe I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but 19 was killed on October the 20th. A shooting that also left his girlfriend in the hospital from a cop. Now, when I first read the story, and I completely forgot about it till I seen the video yesterday. Um, the video yesterday was uh they interviewed his girlfriend in the hospital, and she was telling the story of what happened. They got pulled over. Uh, they pulled over, and matter of fact, I don't even think they got pulled over. Either way, a cop ended up behind them. Behind them, he come up to the car. They both had their hands up, so they don't have no weapon. The cop made the comment to him, "I know you. I know you from jail or whatever." And he's like, "What's going on?" Um, they end up letting him go. They drive off, go a short ways. Another cop car come up and slam into them. Well, at that point, they get out and they started to shoot inside the car. Now, it's Marcellis Stinnette and his girlfriend, and I want to say they had a small baby in the car too. But the cops didn't care who was in the car. So um, the girlfriend said, "Look, the car ended up crashing. Um, after they started shooting into it, they crashed. They both get out the car. Well, she got out the car. He was hard to breathe, but the officer showed up. She get out. She shot. Um, and they basically did not try to help him. She said while he was still breathing, they put a blanket over him, as if that's what they planned on doing was killing him. They basically let him die. And listening to her story and the pain that she have, because now she's a single parent. Her child would never know her father. And you have these cops that does stuff like this, and they still allow them to wear a badge. Why? It's we just had this incident the other day in Philly. Yeah, this happened on October the 20th, but it's still a senseless killing. At some point, enough is enough. Now, they did terminate that officer. They finally terminated him. He need to go to jail for murder. He talking about he knew this guy. He walked away from the car like everything was okay and turned around. They pull off. Now the cop car come up and they shoot into the car. Could have killed all three of them. And the young lady said, they basically wanted them to die because a dead man cannot speak. And if you Google her name, you will see the video. Very disturbing. I watched it a couple of times yesterday. Very disturbing. And to see this pain this young sister was in, I just posted her name. Google the video, see it for yourself. And please, all these folks that normally say, oh, they shouldn't have been doing this, this, that, or whatever. Listen to the full story first. Because that police department in Illinois fired this cop. They know he did something wrong. And we're seeing this way too often. So I'm telling whoever win the election on Tuesday, y'all need to come up with a plan to hold these cops accountable. We need to make some changes. That's the only way it's going to stop. That's why voting is important. Not just your federal level, but also your local. Your local is where all your laws are made. So definitely get out and vote. That's disturbing.
Clear.
So
since we're talking about cops and all their
exactly.
shenanigans. So this former New York cop who broke into a black woman's home shouting racial slurs is ordered to pay $1 million to her. And so let me give you a backstory on this. So this took place July 2018. Michael J. Reynolds, the former patrol officer, broke into Kanice Halliburton, a black woman's home in Nashville, Tennessee. So he and 6 other men, 2 of whom were identified as New York City police officers, were on a 3-night bachelor party. So they were good, drunk, and just partying. So about 18 hours into their outing, Officer Reynolds, who kicked in the black woman's door, or I should just say Halliburton's door, in a drunken rage, threatening her and her sons with racial slurs and obscenities. He even threatened to break every bone in their necks, referred to her children as effing N-words. And there's actually surveillance video of him doing this. So these words can be heard. This is not her just saying, he said this, because, they can always dispute that. So after the incident, he fled to his nearby Airbnb rental just before the police arrived. And incidentally, his Airbnb was next door to Halliburton. So he didn't have to go far. He was eventually sentenced to 15 days in jail with 3 years probation after pleading no contest for 4 misdemeanors as a result of the episode in 2019. So for weeks after sentencing, here's the kicker, he remained an officer. And it wasn't until after more than 10,000 people signed an online petition demanding his dismissal and supporting the woman whose home he evaded that he needed to, be fired. And so he was, I think eventually he was put on modified duty after that incident. Not fired, modified duty.
Mm.
Eventually, he ended up quitting his job. So, effective immediately. And he, at the time, was 26 years old. He since, after the court apologized and claimed that he had no memory of the incident because of the drunkenness. Halliburton holds the ex-officer Reynolds fully accountable for his actions. And because Reynolds declared bankruptcy, it's not likely that she's going to get awarded any of this money. Um, but a GoFundMe account by Halliburton was for her was raised has raised almost $3,000. I don't know if when they got that total from. I don't know if it's gone up since then, but just imagine like being an officer and he's a young man, and he thinks he's above the law. And the fact that he wasn't terminated after doing that. Like those people, like he could have shot up that family. Like, why are you kicking down somebody's door? Drunk or not, you're an officer of the law. You're supposed to, uphold the laws, and here you are breaking them, and didn't even like barely got a slap on the wrist, and he ended up just resigning because of the pressure. Like he
Yeah,
could have still probably been an officer on modified duty doing his 3 years probation.
I'm really struggling right now um because of the comment that came in. Now, I'm gonna talk about this story. First of all, he was in the wrong. Um, he was in the wrong. Now, the comment that came in, um, which is I really feel like it's borderline for the simple fact. Eva Donkey, you're saying that these times we live and now people are mad and angry at the cops, and the cops are on edge because they're scared. Feel like a loop. Only way to stop it is everyone needs to calm the fudge down. Now, I'm a normally I wouldn't even address this, but I'm gonna tell you like this. Yeah, everybody else on the edge, but when we was having peaceful protesting, trying to do things the right way. See, all the protests would not be going down if it wasn't from cops like this doing things like this. Because if they wasn't killing unarmed black people, trying to terrorize black people in 2020, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But we have some dumbass cops that choose to do things like this. So
They do extra for no reason.
for no reason at all.
It's like they antagonize people because they can and try to get a rise out of people. And we as citizens are supposed to just bite our tongues and deal with it while we're being abused. You wouldn't take that from anyone else.
Exactly.
And at the end
Now,
of the day, they're just men with badges.
now the thing is, we are not talking about all cops because, like I said,
Right. It's not all cops, but
I
there's
know some great cops. I have family members, friends that are cops, but the ones that do stuff like this, they should not have a badge. That's why police training should be much longer, for they can actually see how they true feelings are when it's dealing with other race. So that's the problem we have today in America. Like I say all the time on the show, a lot of them put their sheets down, put on uniform, put on a good suit, and and now they sitting on a bench somewhere. So
Yeah, and this like we've already known through history. This is an ongoing thing of just men in power or feeling empowered and feeling the need to beat down people with lesser power of
exactly,
all races of people, whether it's an immigrant, brown, black, whatever. But the fact that this is an ongoing thing and it starts from the top because they allow it to happen because
exactly,
there's no repercussions for their actions. Like there's no consequences for their actions. So they could literally come through this door and shoot me and then justify by saying, well, she had a speeding ticket like 10 years ago. We shouldn't have to justify a senseless killing at the hands of officers or anyone who feels threatened. Like, when does that end? I mean, you don't see this ever happening in white suburban homes, and it's just ignorant people, because sometimes it's not just white officers, it's Hispanic officers or, whatever. But they feel and like they need to puff up their chest and feel like they're over somebody and they just take it too far. And that needs to
exactly,
stop.
exactly.
There's no reason to draw a weapon on a routine, traffic stop.
None whatsoever.
There's no reason, like if I'm riding shotgun, that I get pulled out of a car because I don't have my, license or whatever. Because I'm sorry, listen, I don't know. Like if we're rolling down the street, I just ride. I'm just riding. I'm not gonna have ID on me,
And
and
that's
I
what,
shouldn't have to produce it for you
and that's why
if
you
I've done
have to
nothing
know
wrong.
your rights. Because it's funny that you say that. Um, I just seen a video a while ago um, that this actually happened. Now I have my opinions about it because it was a white young lady with either her boyfriend or her husband. They childless in the car. She got pulled over going 45 into 35. Okay, she was speeding. They gave her a ticket. And then they turned around. They wanted his ID. And he's like, hey, I'm not driving. They talking about their investigation. Their investigation. They needed his ID. Now, the problem I have with that, because I remember when I was way younger, um, I dated outside of my race, and I used to get pulled over quite a bit. Whenever she was in the car with me, I would get pulled over, and they would ask question, "Are you okay? He didn't hurt you, did he?" So the problem is they probably wouldn't have done anything if he was white or if that was a sister that was driving. Problem have People have problem with mixed relationships. They have problems with that. And it shouldn't love don't have no color. You have the rights to date whoever you want to. Anybody who you want to. But there's a lot of people that feel
It
like you
comes with both
should
ways.
date your own time, your own kind.
But here's the thing: it's like we're all one race. Like where this classification and division, it just keeps us separate. Like
Exactly.
we should do away with all this. And I think, you know, you're supposed to just base people on their character, not the color of their skin. The darker you are doesn't mean you're more of a criminal.
Exactly.
It has no bearing on how much education you have. Like I remember wearing well, my whole wardrobe's all black, but I'm just gonna chalk it up to maybe I matched the wait staff or hostess that day. But it's not uncommon for somebody, like if I'm at a restaurant, I'm walking by to my table, and someone's like, "Ma'am, can we get some more waters or drinks over here?" I don't work here.
Exactly.
Like
You're,
they
you're,
automatically assume if you're brown or black, you're a worker. Like I could
I'm
own, well, maybe if I
give
owned them, like, yeah, I'll get somebody over right away.
give them
Don't
some Suge
assume,
Avery.
right? Listen, yeah, no.
Mm.
But I almost like listen, because it was a place I frequented, and I
Um,
should have been like, yeah, here's your water, pour it all over 'em.
so radio said, why would the police union protect cops like that? I'm gonna tell you
Yeah,
here in Dallas, I feel we have one of the worst police union in Dallas because with evidence right in front of them, they will say they had that Trump syndrome.
but also there's different unions. They have a variety of unions they can join.
Yeah,
It's
e-
not just the one, but they do have, and again, they separate their
exactly,
unions. Um,
for a reason.
you know, uh, but you can join any race can join any of them, but they do have different rate.
It's segregated.
Yeah, it's
You know.
segregated. They do.
So
They
so
do. So yeah.
but here in Dallas, I only see one union on the news all the time defending somebody who did something wrong.
Mhm.
So that tells you right there where the problem lies in at. If like every time something happened, I haven't heard this guy not one time say that any cop did anything wrong. Um, like when the Amber Geiger
Mhm.
shot Bolton, he out there lying. Oh, she didn't do it. Whatever he said, but either way, the evidence is right there. She went into this man's apartment and killed him, and he defended her. I understand you getting paid for it, but come on now.
Yeah, you got to protect your own. But a funny story to that, like on the flip side, the other races who joined that union, they are equally protected. The other unions don't have a good reputation. Like they just drop you. So if anything goes wrong, up, you're fired. Like they don't question it. They don't have your back. Allegedly. I
Now,
mean, that's what I heard on the outside. But it is funny how the different workings of the unions work for DPD.
as now,
Interesting.
why do you feel it's like that? Because um
I think just the history, and they're so used to protecting their own, and I mean they drink that blue Kool-Aid, and if you go against the grain, then you're an outsider, and you don't see, as long as you're with the group and you go along to get along, you will be protected because at the end of the day they're going to need you and you're going to need them. And I think it's
exactly.
like a fraternity. It's a brotherhood, and you can't break that bond. They've been through some stuff. No matter what, whether they like you or not, if you're a part of that union, you're a part of that clan. You know,
Oh, okay.
not to say that they don't. There's no hazing within the groups, but like your sibling, I could pick on my sibling all day, but guess an outsider comes in up. Like
Exactly.
I can do that. Only I can do that because this uniforms, gives me certain rights. And I think it's just, I don't know, it's just a weird brotherhood, and you see it in corporations. You know, one hand washes the other,
Mm.
and it's a level of respect that they have, even though it was based on maybe racist tendencies to maintain the masses, but it evolved over time, and I mean it's got a long way to go. It's progressing, but also we can't fault them either because again, it's not just them. They got
Okay.
the okay to do this from the top because no one is holding anybody accountable. Like like they can do anything to us, and it's a free for all. And they're like, well, She had to come in. Was she a criminal? She must have been a crack whore. Because again, like I always say, we need to change the narrative on how Black people are perceived or Hispanic people are perceived. We're not all criminals. Most of us have education. Not all of us living on the system because by those numbers that people keep quoting, 1 in 2 Black people live in the system and have different baby mamas and baby daddies. It's not true. Like, just look in your office, look around at the people, just actually look. These are educated people in the workforce.
Exactly. Um, I'm sorry. IG. I know this is our first night on Instagram, but y'all are, I don't know if could you see any chats in Instagram by any chance?
I can't. I only see a half a screen.
Okay,
I
we
don't
still
know if I
working
have
on it.
to do um, the app because it did ask me for a specific app to download. But whenever I click on the live, this is what I see. It's a split screen. It doesn't
Oh,
give us a, like
oh
I can see
wow.
us moving.
Well, we still working it out. So,
So I don't know.
but if you are on Instagram, you can always move over to YouTube and chime in. You can actually chat live with us on the channel. The link is in the profile. Speak on it with who you with, Kurt. Though, if you click on the YouTube channel, you can actually come over to YouTube and you can chat live with us during the live show. Um, and put your comments in. We had a lot of comments to come in. I know we've been rolling pretty good. Um, Eva Donkey did say he do agree with what I'm saying. I appreciate you. Um, Said there's good and bad ones. Yes, it is. Um, Mostly when we see stuff like this, it's dealing with the white officers. Um, we seen some black officers do some things and they were brought to justice very quick.
And very
Um,
swift.
exactly. Like the guy in Carrollton, in Addison, that was off duty doing security at the apartment complex. Caught someone breaking in his vehicle. He chased them, shot and killed one guy and injured another guy. He's in prison. Um, in Minnesota, back before George Floyd, like a year or two before. Actually, I think it was about a year before. Two officers sitting in the alley. They got a call, didn't see nobody. Someone approached the car. A woman approached the car. He thought someone was trying to do something. He reached across his partner, shot and killed the woman. He's in prison. Once again, it's different justice for black guys and white, for black people and white people. Definitely different
Yeah, it's
justice. If
not
you
consistent. And that's what we're like when we do the Black Lives Matter. No, it's not a terrorist organization. I will keep saying that over and over again. It's a movement to bring awareness of the injustices of the races that we experience. And the laws were just not made for us.
uh,
It's always been against us. Like even after slavery, people didn't want um, to pay black workers, and so they figured out a way. And I want to say it's the 14th Amendment that allowed um, prison labor. And guess who they got in jails? And it started from there. And because
exactly.
they got free labor from the black criminals, and they didn't necessarily have to be criminals,
Uh,
and they just threw them in there for just cause, and they got their free labor. And it still resonates today, and that's the problem. A lot, like, I know we've come a long way, but we still got a long way to go.
a long way. Um,
And yeah, there are some evil donkey says there's terrorists cloaking themselves as Black Lives Matter. Yeah, but they're
exactly.
like wolves in sheep's clothing. Yeah, Abby, but we've been warned about stuff like that since biblical times. you know like, you just got to be careful, but and don't be blinded or over the bad stuff that negates the good. the message that we're trying to convey. Like protect everybody, like treat everybody equal. That's it. That's all we want, just to be equal. And if I steal a car and little Buffy steals a car, if she gets probation, I need to get probation.
Exactly.
Don't throw me in there for life for a car I only got 5 miles in, and little Becky, because she's got affluenza, like they make up terms
Exactly. To
to
get them out.
protect their clan. We don't get that same luxury. We can't claim mental illness. We can't claim stress or a crime of passion. That's not something that we can ask for or be judged on. We're just straight up criminals and animals, and those are the descriptors that you see on the news on a daily, and that's another problem because you see two people doing the same crime, and one person of a lighter race or skin color, they show them with their family behind the Christmas tree. Oh, little Becky, she did wrong, she stole one, this is her first crime. Then they show someone like me, and they show a mugshot. It's
Mm.
not the same. So already people see black people as criminals. They don't see the human side of us.
Exactly.
And we need to change that perspective.
It definitely need to be equal justice across the board. My motto is: if you do the crime, you do the time.
Right. And
Uh,
I'm all for that as well. But it has
and
to be consistent.
it got to be consistent. It have to be the same. Um, we had a lot of come in. I'm trying to run through them um, before I put anything. Radio actually said police agency have to earn respect from the communities they serve. They can't force respect through intimidation. I
Exactly.
agree with you. And unfortunately, the police was actually first formed for the simple fact to round up slaves that have escaped. That's what we have to remember. Because of that, that's the reason why um, some of these police force are still targeting black people. First of all, you need to change your frame of mind, because if you still had that frame of mind back in the old days when it was first formed to round up slaves that have escaped, it's going to be a problem. So that's a problem within itself. That's why voting is very good. Tuesday is going to be crazy.
That's
Um,
why get out. If you haven't done it, get out there now. I think tomorrow's the last day
Tomorrow is the last day here
for
in
early
Texas
voting.
to vote.
Get
And
out there. Get in,
now,
get out.
now I tell you how crazy this is, because this is the first election that I have ever heard of a governor uh, calling the National Guard to put them on standby. So
Because of foolish people.
exactly, because all the threats that have came out, we have to stand together. That's why I asked the question on past shows. If the person that you supporting do not win, are you willing to lose your life behind it? Because the thing is, once the election is over, we know somebody is going to win, someone is going to lose. And when
Not
we,
everybody's going to be happy. There's always someone who's going to be miserable. But guess what? We're
at
the
the end of the
United
day,
States.
we still have to keep living.
Right.
So it's not worth it. Um, da, da, da. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. Police should be sponsored by the community they serve, like petition or something. Well, actually, you have to realize our tax dollars pay their salaries. That's the reason why they saying defund the police, not to get rid of the police department, but basically taking some of that overtime money that they getting and put in other organization. Because if Philadelphia, from the killing the other night, if they had a a community oversight board, which they was actually in a meeting when that killing happened. If they had it in place, they could have sent someone out there to deal with mental health, because there was a mental health call, but the brother lost his life. So um so it's not that it should have to be sponsored, because our tax dollars are sponsoring them.
Right. It just needs to be like the funds need to be allotted to where it does the most good.
Exactly.
Like not they don't all need tanks in the suburbs,
Exactly.
tactical whatevers. Give them what they need. Give them the pay that they deserve, so that they won't have to do so much overtime. Do the training so you can get more people in and bring more, recruits in, so that you can have, like if something happens with your team or retirement, you still have a reserve group. You know,
Um
it, it's
exactly.
it's just that. I mean, just like teachers, like they get nothing, and they have to deal with these bad kids. Some of them are criminals or on the path to being criminals, and they get nothing.
Exactly.
So it needs to be balanced out. So it's like whatever is not used there. I mean, they're not talking about getting rid of officers at all. Just take away their option to just go crazy with the funds and put it in places where it does no good for the community.
Exactly. So I'm gonna kind of glance through some of these messages. Uh,
And TCAL was that.
yeah, T Cal said,
I'm
and
not
would
sure I
the
understand the
positive
question,
work the police chief, who is black, would do.
because I
Yeah,
know the one that we had for a moment.
she finna
They,
leave.
yeah, because they didn't give her the respect in the departments that she deserved.
She came
She
in
didn't.
a messed up
Yeah,
department, and she done some good, but once again,
you
you
have to have
know,
that backing and the support. She didn't get that support because not only was she black, she was female. And again,
exactly.
it's a boys club, and a lot of people don't like to hear from a woman, especially a black woman.
Exactly. Also, once again on Instagram, I don't know how long we're going to be on there. I know you can hear the show, but you cannot see it good. But you can always click the profile, come over to YouTube. You can live chat with us, and also be a part of the show. Uh, Instagram normally give you 1 hour, and we're approaching that time. So definitely take the time out, go to YouTube, come chime in, chat with us on the chat, and we can keep the show going. Um, also, uh, he was talking about sound like y'all are talking exactly about coach, but you're talking about cops union. No, we talking about a gang. That's all it is. They wear the same colors. They're in a gang. That's all it is. Um, hey, it's no other way of putting it. Um, Uh, yeah, I agree with you on that. You guys are on the right path. I'm not gonna say it tonight because whenever I tell him that, he switch up a little bit. Uh, so I'm not gonna tell him that. He asked if we early voted. Yes, we did.
Yeah, got
I
that
don't,
in and out.
I don't know much about it really, but do you gotta vote then for real in person later on? Huh?
Now, once you vote, you vote.
Yeah,
Early
you
voting is just,
uh,
so you don't have to be in that crowd on the second, and because it's like
the
what,
third
7 to 7?
on the third. Yeah.
Oh, on the third,
Uh,
sorry, 7 to 7 usually, and it's usually chaos in line.
you
It's
only
like
vote
Black Friday.
You only vote one time, regardless of what Trump have said. You vote
Yeah,
one
just one
time,
time. You do it
either
more than once,
early
you in a
vote
cookie,
or on election. Preferably early vote to beat
because you
the
have a lot.
crowd.
Yeah, because usually early voting, you have a lot more. You don't have to go to certain counties or your
Well, that's in
district to vote.
Texas. We don't know where Eva is
Yeah,
located because he said he
right,
liked to be secret.
right.
Uh,
So here it's like You just go wherever. If anywhere
Whatever
they have a
county you
polling
in.
place, you go. If you Dallas, you vote in Dallas, no matter what zone you're in, as opposed to the major one. And I think you have
Exactly.
to be in exactly wherever your district is, and it's crazy. I mean, it's already crazy.
Exactly. He said, "I bet you glad you voted early. It will
I
be
sure
crazy
am. I
Tuesday
did it during
tomorrow."
lunch break.
Exactly.
I was at the mall, bought some stuff from Bath and Body Works.
I went the second day and it was pretty quick. And my wife went the third day before she went to work. Um, she was in and out probably in 10 minutes. So that was good. Did you guys know that Red Cross said they're broke, need money to help? But there are leaked video of guys that open. I don't
Well,
know. I don't know about that. Um, See, I normally
there
read.
are always rumors about like these organizations, and like only maybe 20% of the funds go to help people, and the rest goes into the pockets, and that's if that. But those have been rumbling since what Sally Struthers in the 80s. Like for 50 cents a day.
Exactly. That's
So,
what I heard.
but I never researched that to know, and like I don't know.
Yeah, it always been rumors about oh, I say red cloth. I don't know what I'm thinking about. Red Cross and Goodwill. But I will say one thing: they do some good in the community. And certain communities, when stuff happen, they do show up. That do cost money. But as for the funds, I don't know. Maybe they. I don't know. I have no comments about that because I don't know.
Maybe they do line their pockets, but they do, for the most part, they do the work from what I've seen. But I've never, researched it fully.
So
It's
I said I wasn't gonna say nothing earlier about evil because whenever I say it, he started going left, started going through the conspiracy theory.
I
So
don't, yeah, because he posted one. I don't understand what he means by how
yeah.
mad will y'all be when y'all find us out.
Well, first of all, I pick and choose which organizations I give to.
Yeah,
And normally I
and
give
usually
to
it's
the
local.
yeah, I give to the ones I know where the money is gonna go. So giving to Red Cross,
Yeah, that's too
I don't
broad. I
I
usually
don't
do
do that.
community because it's like, it takes a village. Like I gave like 3 bags worth of clothes and shoes to a coworker to take to her church because they were doing a thing in Arlington and Grand Prairie.
Yes.
So at least I knew where that was going. All my bags that I've collected, like just plastic bags, they needed to help. If they give canned goods and whatnot to the families, they need bags. Well, guess what? I have for some reason I'm hoarding bags. Don't know why. I have bags within bags, and I just gave her a whole bunch, and donated those as well. So
Well, I would make a suggestion, and I don't know if they're accepting them now, but I know one organization I would always give to is Friendship West because they give back to the community. Before COVID, uh, what they used to do, they would have, of course, people donate, but they would have people to come up to the clothing store. Now, I call it a store, but the thing is, they don't charge nobody. You come in there and you shop like you at a clothing store and get whatever you need. So I like communities that give back to the community. That's why I've been
right,
there so long, and they give back to the community. As for the homeless community, they're still doing it today, even in the middle of a pandemic. They're still doing things, and I love that. But it's a lot of churches out there doing good things, and it's a lot of organizations doing some good things. I actually have a friend. They're doing this out of their pocket. Every week they go and feed the homeless out of their pocket, which is a wonderful thing. So that's good. Um, but I, I I know we talked about how we was gonna start the show, and
Mhm.
I completely forgot. Please, I I apologize, but we're gonna switch it up a little bit.
I mean, we're talking about churches anyway.
Well, I guess it did roll together. I didn't even think about it like that. But
Yeah.
man,
So, um, this is based on Rickie Rush. It's not too much in the news, but I think they're doing an investigation. So once they get everything out, I think it's just going to be like a big story. Uh, so Rickie Rush, who's 60 years old, is a pastor of what's the the Inspiring Body of Christ Church
short
in
Ibach.
Dallas, IBOC. But and so a couple of young women, Renee Phillips and Donna Fields, alleged sexual assault at the hands of Rickie Rush. Dallas Morning News investigative reporters Miles Moffitt and Sue Ambrose broke the story on September 20th. So this has been a while, and there's been just kind of low rumblings. But every once in a while, there's more and more information that comes out that seeps out. There are additional victims that are coming out, um, talking about on top of sexual assault. There's also allegations of child abuse, possible deceit to his congregation about the death of his mother. I tried to get more information on that because I was like, wait, what? Um, yeah, so this, I want to say this started um, in the early 1990s when the church was founded. He was also working in a high school, incidentally, school I went to at that time, 91 to 95, Skyline High School. Seen him around, knew him, but forgot that I knew him. But yeah, he's alleged to have sexually or physically assaulted five other members since then, and three said they were beaten with paddles when they were teens. There's also a report that he handcuffed, tied down, and beat his victims. And like I said, this is an ongoing investigation. Uh, Currently has not faced, and he's currently not facing any charges at this time. But my question is like, why now? Like, what's going on? Like, and because we don't know if this is just, people getting attention or if he really did do some things. Um, I have my opinions because again, I went to the school. Not going to give too much information, but just in the 90s, there were just different rules. And I know off the air, off this forum, Kurt and I, we've spoken about our experiences with abuse and how when I went to school, and this is just me personally, a lot of male teachers and some female teachers would be inappropriate with the students. Um, and it was just like the environment we learned in. It was almost accepted. Like everybody knew about it, but because we didn't have camera phones and there wasn't a public outcry, we just kind of everybody just swept it under the rug. Like one of the classes I went to, I did art, so photography. But your first year, you had to take these different clusters in art, not just photography. So we did printing press, we did radio, we did all of the things, radio, anything that had to do with that field. And the printing press class, I don't even know what you call it. We learned how to make notepads.
Mm.
One of the male teachers, he was into everybody. Like you'd have a question, and we had those seats where the backs were out. He would roll up behind you and rub himself against you in full view of all the classmates. And we would haze each other, I guess, as a way to downplay what was happening. He'd take his arms around you, rub your arm while he's rubbing himself. And again, it didn't matter if you were male or female. He did it to everybody in that class. And we joke around. Oh, I guess it's your turn next. Like that was the culture that we were in. What, 7 hours a day with all these teachers. And like I said, it wasn't all the male teachers. It was faculty and staff and female and we knew some female staff members at that time who were, having sex with the ball players. We knew who they were and they were open about it.
Mm.
And but again, when it comes to boys, it's like, oh, well, kudos. You got that, you got yourself a cougar. Oh, you got you an old woman. When it comes to girls, it's like, oh, we got to do something about it. But, again, there's like this double standard, but that was the culture we lived in.
Well, I think I'm gonna say this first. I had a cousin that mentioned to me, and I'm going to reach out to them because they mentioned to me back then when Abak was first starting out. This cousin was saying they didn't like him because because the way that he treated them at the school.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this cousin never went into details uh, as for what the problem was.
Right.
So, with that being said, I'm going to reach out to this cousin and try to find out more information. Now, I've said on
Yeah, because it was with him. It's a weird thing because he did. I want to say what drama or he did something, and we didn't cross paths too often because of the way the school was set up. But on occasion, you would see him in like the common areas or whatever, and people had their groupies or their favorites. And again, I don't know personally how he was in that environment with them because I didn't know his too many people in his circle. But we were too busy dealing with all the other craziness at that school. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. And I'm keeping an open mind on this because I believe like on one hand, yeah, I believe he was probably inappropriate with some students. But on the other hand, he may not have been. But I'm like right in the middle. Like I don't know because of that school and just the environment that we were in during that time.
well, also you have to look at I know there was a student maybe 5 or 6 years ago where a teacher was accused of sexual assaulting a student. And this young lady went to court to testify for this teacher from Skyline and was saying that she was in love with him. So and I seen some of the protests that went on, and I just pray and hope it's not true. But if it is true, he need to be held accountable
Right.
because you cannot be going around messing up people's lives like that. You are damaging, you have damaged some lives because I've seen one of the sisters, and I'm friend with one of them. I'm not sure which one it is, but I've seen where these two sisters did not speak for 20 years and come to find out he damaged both of their lives. Did the same thing to both of them. One of them, he also allegedly abused her son. and not, I don't think, I want to say it was physical abuse, um, but abuse is abuse. So he's allegedly abused her son, and she was working for the church. And she asked the son, "Well, why you didn't tell me?" And he said, "Well, I couldn't tell you. You was working there. You spoke highly about this man." But when she realized what was going on with his son, with her son, that's um that's that's where the line was drawn at. And she realized, wait a minute, he done the same thing to me. Talking about tying students up and beating them, making them pull their pants down and whooping them with a paddle. And in the first report I read, even got to the point where they said someone passed out from him whooping them with a paddle. So I have no sympathy for him. If he did it, he need to be held accountable for it. He need to see his date in court. And I've also said on past shows when I talked about it, Pastor Rush, if it's not true, you need to say something. To the hell with what your attorney is telling you. This is your life. But once again,
because it's already out there, whether it's true or not.
exactly. If it's true or not, you need to face face it whichever way it goes. If you did it, you need to be held accountable. Matter of fact, one story I read, no, it wasn't a story, it was a video I seen. His wife knows about it. See, that's a problem within itself because people be with people just because of what they have, and they turn the blind eye on what's really going on. These young ladies been holding this for over 20 years. They've been dealing with this for over 20 years. And at some point, somebody got to speak up.
Right.
That's why I have pink on tonight. I should have wore purple, but I know this is our last show before the end of breast cancer month. So I'm supporting breast cancer. But I should have wore purple for domestic violence because it's alive and well also. So definitely, and I said it on the show before, for the victims, if you have not gotten any help, please get some help, get some counseling. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay to take counseling because we have in the Black community where we don't want to take counseling. I take it every week. And I will tell you, if it wasn't from my counselor, with all the stuff I go through, y'all would think y'all watching the Bernie Mac show because I've been going through some stuff, especially this time of the year, and I'm completely stressed. But at the same time, I thank God for my counselor, um, because they do a great job. When I have these counselors come on the show, it's not just for y'all; it's for me too. It's for me because I need help just like them, just like you do. But I prefer for them to help someone else instead of just helping me because I have access to them. And I would recommend anybody, if you are going through some things, please take counseling. If you work, contact your HR. As for the EAP, Employee Assistant Program, you can get counseling for free.
And it's at least a couple of sessions. It's either 2
Exactly.
or 3 free sessions.
But the counselor can request for more.
Right.
And it don't just cover you. It covers your spouse, your kids. Take it. It's very important. It's very important. If I'm telling you, these counselors that comes on the show, which I've been saying I need to text Miss Kincaid. If you listening, I'm gonna text you right after the show or first thing in the morning. We need you to come back. We need you to come back on. I know she tell me all the time whenever I want her to come back. I'm gonna try to get it set up where she can come back every week because we need it, especially during this time. Um, but definitely the victims, please take counseling. If you need, um, if you're still in the Dallas area, and if you need a counselor, um, you can either call me or you can send me an email, and I can put you in contact with some great counselors. Um, definitely take it, and it's just one of those things. Um, that's my email also. Eva, you asked what do I do for a living? I don't give out personal information. Uh, that's the best way to go because you might show up. So I don't give out personal information. We'll just say that. But definitely, and if someone that is actually dealing with this, um, even if you're not dealing with Rickie Rush, I know we talk about it. We had shows about malicious parent syndrome, dealing with baby mama, baby daddy drama. Look, take counseling. I recommend it for anybody. I definitely recommend it.
And if you don't feel that counseling's for you, talk to a good friend. I mean, you got to have at least one good friend you can talk with. Like me, I use writing as my outlet, but I totally need counseling. I
well,
probably scared them all.
I will give you Miss either Kincaid or either Miss Kincaid or also
I wouldn't even know where to start.
trust me.
It's
I'm
like
gonna
read
tell
my
you.
book and then we can start there. And
I'm
then
I'm gonna tell you. When I first went to counseling, it was after my near death experience, and I walked in there because what got me was after my near death experience. I went after I got out the hospital. I go to my wife and I went over some friend's house. And for me, I'm thinking I'm just being myself, having a good time. But when I heard my wife apologize for the things I was saying, that made me think, you know what? I need to take counseling because when you have a near death experience, you look at life differently. And I was like, you know what? I made the appointment. The first 3 times I went in there, had my arms folded. I'm looking at her like,
all
mm-hmm,
closed off.
mm-hmm. But the first 2 times, that third time I went in there and I couldn't take it no more. I opened up and I cried. I'm not ashamed to say it. I cried. So now we have the type of relationship where I could talk to her about any and everything. I probably got on my last nerve on Tuesday because when I did counseling Tuesday, um, I've said it on the show before. I even expressed to you last week after we got off the air. This time of the year is hard for me because for the first time last year, I seen my daughter for the first time in 16 years. Not because I didn't want to see her, but because of a malicious parent that ran off with her. Her birthday was yesterday. So during this time of the year, it's hard. And the fact that the stronghold that this mother have on her, I haven't seen nor talked to her since the first time I seen her after 16 years. So with that being said, yeah, if I can pay my counsel extra, I would, because she probably she probably had to get finna seeing me and go get some counseling herself.
Mhm.
Because one thing about it, I only have one child, and I would lay my life down for her. So to everybody that is listening, if you're going through some things, it's okay to take counseling. It's okay. No matter what it is. One thing about a counselor, what you tell them is confidential. Not unless you talking about going out here shooting up some things. That's
Right.
completely different. But whatever you tell them, that's between you and them. So I would tell my daughter, happy birthday. I love you. You have my information. Whenever you ready, I'm here for you. Um, so on that note, Miss Risky, tell them where they can find you. Welcome to the show, Marcella. Thank you for tuning in.
You can find me on Instagram at RSKEE, also Twitter, Facebook, but I usually live on Instagram. So you can send me messages or whatnot, or just follow all my pages. Um, uh, my books are on rskeebooks.com, and you can take a look at my works, Beneath the Surface, A Breaking Point, and Resolve, which is the final in that saga. It's on Instagram, all online, so look me up.
you can find me on social media. I'm all over the place. Um, just if you're on social media, best to send me a chat, because if you put it on the page, um, I definitely may or may not see it. But if you send me a message, I normally respond back pretty quick. And you can find me on Facebook, um, YouTube, Twitch. Well, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram mostly. So, but if you send me a message or email, I will respond back. Um, Eva Donkey, if I had the opportunity to meet you face to face, yes, we can sit down and have a conversation. Hopefully, um, everybody get out and vote. If you haven't voted yet, tomorrow is the last day in Texas for early voting. I don't know about other locations, but here in Texas, tomorrow is the and last day for early voting. Tuesday, if you haven't voted by Tuesday, definitely go vote Tuesday. Don't be concerned about the lines, because however you vote, it can affect us for a long time. Because whoever this next president gonna be is actually going to um, they can set laws that can last for 20, 30, 40 years. So definitely that's why you need to have your let your voice be heard. Um, because voting is the only way we can make a change in America. That's the only way. We can protest, we can do this, do that. But if we're not getting to the polls, it don't make no sense. And I would tell anybody, I'm leaving the number up on the screen for a reason. Because if you are dealing with something that you feel like you are alone, and if you need help, uh, call me. Call me, and I will make sure um, you will get the help that you need. Now, let me say this: don't be like the person that made the comments the other day on YouTube. Uh, I think that was Marcella's friend or something, uh, talking nonsense, but they didn't want that smoke from my wife. So um, that's completely different. But on the real though, if you need someone to talk to, if you feel like you're unable to talk to anyone, call me. Call me. I will be um, your helpmate to get you through it. Man. Oh, another thing. Monday, we're gonna hit a milestone. I haven't decided what I'm gonna do just yet, but I think I may give out one of the new shirts. Um, Monday will be 100 live show that I've done.
What?
Yes, 100. I was looking at it today and I was like, we actually have done like 107 before this show, but Monday will be the 100 live show. So I don't even know what I'm gonna talk about Monday, but that's a milestone. Um, when I started this platform, I just wanted to come on and talk about different things. Never had one of the things I said did not want to talk about politics. I didn't want to talk about it or anything, but here it is. I have
This
to
almost
follow.
over.
I have to follow God lead. So that's what he put on my heart when I got started. But I appreciate it. 100 shows, live shows come Monday. And it's funny, if you go to YouTube, go to the YouTube page, Speak On It with Who You With Kurt Though, and see how it started and see where we are today. You will see how we came a long way. We still working on things because, like Risky said on Instagram, the stream is split, and it's probably because it's both of us on the stream, and it probably be okay if it's just me. So I'm gonna still work on that, but I'm glad to know that we are on Instagram, so that's a good thing. But Sunday night, um, I will be back. Monday will be the 100 show on Monday night, 100 live shows, and on Tuesday night, the election night. I'm working on some stuff for Tuesday night, so hopefully we can get that set up. But until Sunday night, I know Miss Risky have an early morning in the morning, look like she almost sleep over there. So uh, she looking almost
They
like
are kind of slanty, aren't they?
looking almost like Joe. That picture you sent me of Joe the other day.
Just
But
call me Sleepy Risky.
you're sleepy risky. But on the real though, we really appreciate y'all for tuning in. Um, I appreciate Miss Risky for taking time out of her schedule to come on Thursdays, and um, I I just feel like we're gonna have many more shows. Um, I was gonna put the number back up. I forgot it came down. So the number is 972-591-3665. 972-591-3665. You can call or text that number. If you need to talk, text me. Um, we can get together. I will make time for we can talk and lead you in the right direction. Matter of fact, um, I'm gonna put a couple of number ups. If you are dealing with domestic violence, you had a domestic violence number 1-800-799-7233. 1-800-799-7233. If you're trying to find shelter from a domestic violence case here locally in Dallas, 214-941-1991, 214-941-1991. That's the family place. And if you are a victim of a sexual assault, 1-800-656-4673, 1-800-656-4673. Definitely take advantage of those numbers if you need help or if you need someone to talk to. You can always reach out to me. Until Sunday night, we really appreciate everyone for tuning in. We love each and every one of you. Until next time, peace.